Good morning. What a fabulous day for a walk, guys. So, here we are chilling in one of my favorite parks, St. Shadow. And I kind of want to talk to you about something. I think it was Aristotle that said, it's the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without actually having to accept it. Critical thinking is something we all should have a really good grasp on. But, I'm old enough to remember a time without social media. It was a lot easier to have a conversation with someone who had a difference of opinion, and you could share your opinions without having to worry about any serious animosity. It doesn't feel that easy anymore. And the country has become more and more divided. And I can't help but think that a lot of people have really lost the ability to think critically. So that's what I want to talk about today. Come on, let's go for a walk. So, everybody's on social media these days. There's some really amazing things happening with social media. And in the old days, like I mentioned, before the time of the internet and before social media, you used to sit on the front porch and have a discussion. I miss that stuff. And there's still a lot of us out here who can do that. You have a difference of opinion, it's not that big a deal. Like, we enjoy having discussions where people have differing opinions. It's supposed to be a good thing. The social media all have algorithms that determine what you want to watch next. So the algorithms can be really helpful, if you're interested in doing a deep dive on particular subjects, or if you have particular channels that you really love, and people, characters you like to follow, different topics that are being covered. But the problem is, we have an epidemic of confirmation bias. The things you tend to look up are pretty much the things that you already believe. You're just looking for other people that believe it too, which is totally cool. There's a real primal energy left in us of tribalism. And back when it was useful, back before we evolved into these big egos, it was a good thing. There's also a very strange thing. We don't have a word for it really in the English language. It's called Schadenfreude, which is like this little feeling of satisfaction you get when someone else is suffering. And of course, I'm seeing a ton of that online right now with the hashtag FAFO and the leopards eating faces crap going around. People are really enjoying the fact that other people are suffering. Now, of course, the Buddhist teachings teach us that suffering is actually a good thing. It's the only way you can really grow and develop as a human being. Um, and collective suffering, although for me personally feels quite scary, I have to keep it in perspective that collective suffering is actually a way to supercharge our evolution and get rid of these fairly debilitating egos that we have now. They were exceptionally useful at one time, but now they're pretty much just hindrances. Now, Lady Bird Johnson said that children are apt to live up to what you believe of them. I would like to change that to people in general, even as adults. We have expectations of each other that are really not reachable. And we believe a lot of things about ourselves that we really shouldn't be believing. It's almost as if the way that we're raised, and I can only speak for this country because I haven't been out of it, is to be ignorant of the true being that lives in all of us. And it's not just ours, it belongs to everybody. We are part of a collective being. Critical thinking is damaged basically when you aren't aware enough to know that your ego has completely entwined your opinions and beliefs and your identity as a human being. And that is one of the main weaknesses of the ego and of the thinking mind. The thinking mind is supposed to be a beautiful tool that we can use down here. But when we're not taught how to use a tool, what happens? Yeah, the tool takes over. I can't remember who said it, but minds are more stubborn than facts. Sleeping minds, I would add. So, how do we deal with confirmation bias and critical thinking? How can we mature in that department? Well, first and foremost, we need to stop looking out. What other people are choosing to do with their lives and their thinking and their beliefs is really none of your business. Some of them make me very sad. Some people are wrapped in fear and are not open to listening to other people's opinions and views, which may be part of their growth process. The more difficulty you create in your own life through your ego, sometimes those challenges are set up on purpose to help you awaken faster, to help you get to that critical mass point where you're like, I don't know what to think anymore, which is the moment we're all looking for, really. How do you give yourself an upgrade in your own critical thinking? How can you learn to interact with people in a more tolerant way without those little irritations growing up inside of you? Well, first, you should really give yourself an out. Give yourself permission to say, I do have a really strong opinion about this, but maybe I didn't have all the facts at the time. And you should give other people the opportunity to feel the same way. I'm so glad you're here. And take some time to really contemplate the fact that your opinions and beliefs are really not tied to your identity. They're tied to your ego. Your ego is not really your identity. And everything on this earth is impermanent and should be fluid. You should be willing to start the process of letting things flow in and out of your life easily, including opinions and beliefs, especially opinions and beliefs that get in the way of having healthy relationships with others. Looks like it's time to head back, guys. Thanks for coming on a walk with me.